I'm Charlotte. I am Fashion Snoops European Brand Ambassador and I run our Parisian office. Today we are very happy to give you this webinar with Interfiliere from Culture to Retail for the season Spring-Summer 2021. And before you listen to our lingerie expert, I'm happy to give you a little introduction about Fashion Snoops. So just so you are aware of the main fact, we are a global trend agency. We have our headquarters in New York, where we have around 40 to 50 now, I think, people, and we are 120 collaborators all over the world. We have a very strong market in all Latin America. We are very present in Australia, Korea, and obviously all over Europe through a network of agents who work with us all around the world, and that you've had the opportunity to meet many times during the Interfiliere and lingerie show in Paris. We have been there for 20 years. We cover obviously fashion from men to women, children, youth, and we treat the lingerie field into the women's section. We also work around beauty and home design. We are really here to empower our clients and to help you to understand the opportunities. For that, we have strong studies and reports about consumers' insight, what is going on around the world, and how to understand the big moves that are shaping our future, and so our way to consume together. And so that will help you to understand the desires from your clients, and we will make sure that you will design and provide the right product in the right moment to meet their expectation. So we have two types of offering. The first one is our platform. We have a digital platform that is absolutely amazing. I really invite you to ask for demonstration at the end of the webinar. That is a very powerful tool. We've been one of the first to be there 20 years ago. And obviously we also work under advisory. So for consulting projects, we can totally adapt trends to your problematic and join our forces to help you with our huge network of experts. So I will let you now in the hands of Patricia, who's our lingerie expert, and I will meet you after to give you a little overview of our retail watch, which is one of our latest tools to help the lingerie market. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Patricia Maeda, Head of Intimate Apparel at Fashion Snoops. Thank you so much for joining us. In this webinar, I'm going to walk you through two cultural sentiments that we have forecasted for Spring-Summer 21, including macro trends, product and color shifts, as well as some beautiful inspirational narratives that will hopefully inspire you to start the season. So let's get started, and we'll start with the cultural sentiment, vulnerability. Vulnerability is not a choice. Vulnerability is the underlying, ever-present, and abiding undercurrent of our natural state. So in vulnerability, we acknowledge the importance of feeling vulnerable. And it's clear that COVID-19 has definitely helped to spark this sentiment. I'm sure that many of you, like myself, have felt somewhat vulnerable in the last few months. And it is indeed a time of uncertainty and questioning. We see that we have created a reality in which we love distractions and we lead very stressful lives to avoid our feelings. We have built structures that have stripped us from our emotions and limited our creative abilities. But as we awaken to this need to be more human, we start to see that we can actually use vulnerability as a resource for boundless creativity and to live a more fulfilling life. And even though this is a macro sentiment that we see influencing all markets, I think it is especially important for intimate apparel because it is our most intimate layer, what we put against our bare skin. And in fact, it helps to create the very foundation of what we want to show to the world. Now, how did we get here? One of the starting points for our forecast is to look at macro trends, so the cultural context. and we explore how it will drive and feed consumer needs and behaviors. In our macro trend distrust, we have been tracking notions of fear and uncertainty. So things like fake media, data privacy, and brand transparency become increasingly important in the cultural discourse. In human level, we explore what it means to be human in the digital age. So we're looking at digital well-being, soul search, and slow living. And through these cultural trends, we see that consumers will allow themselves to be afraid and will use this fear as a resource for transformative growth. So there's quite a lot of positivity that can come out of vulnerability. Now, how is vulnerability influencing design? For Spring Summer 21, we see true vulnerability emerge as we start to question what's missing, and we want to connect back to our true, authentic selves. We see that these deep-rooted human values will find a new environment to flourish as we start to feel more liberated to embrace all parts of our identity. Design will look towards the empowerment of self, and silhouettes will emulate this free-form sensibility. Now let's take a look at a video that really brings this whole concept to life.
Just the luck of the draw, I guess. I'm no better than all the rest, but you told me I was special. Shouldn't have said I was special at all. So I've given it thought, I should just go away to an island. I'll disappear, you'll never have to think of me again. Oh, please tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm fine. Say it's all good, I'll be alright. Tell me you want me to stay forever. Just the way things are meant to be, I guess. Got no sway on my destiny, I guess you could say. But I can't make sense of every time you pick me up and you put me down. Every time you take me back and you throw me out. I can't make sense, I can't make sense of it. So I've given it thought, I should just go away to an island. I'll disappear, you'll never have to think of me again. Oh, please tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm fine. Say it's all good, I'll be alright. Tell me you want me to stay.
Now let's take a look at how vulnerability is influencing color. In each season, we identify important color shifts that we're seeing in the market. In the case of vulnerability, we are seeing new ways to reinvent pastels and infuse newness into everyday essentials. So soft energy speaks to light-infused tones that emerge as the perfect remedy to recharge the soul and provide a kind of solar comfort in an otherwise dark world. So we're seeing that while these pastels may not be loud, there's nothing demure about these colors or the way they're utilized. Some of the key colors that I would highlight for intimate apparel are buttery soft yellows, dreamy purples, and colors that scream comfort like nude browns and quiet pinks. look at how vulnerability is influencing the intimates market. And our first product shift is called Bare. And this is very much inspired by the wellness conversation. And that is a conversation that leads the trend for everything that is natural, from what we eat to what we put on our bodies. Comfort is another key element of this shift, as we see that comfort-driven styles will continue to outperform others in the next 6 months. Here, underwear is expected to move with the body rather than against it. We go back to basics, highlighting functional lingerie that not only fits, but can be worn throughout the day without compromising on comfort. We're looking into soft, natural fibers that allow the body to breathe, while new technologies eliminate uncomfortable underwires and elastic bands. Let's take a look at some of the callouts for this shift. Like I said, back to basics. I think one of the things that we realized during the pandemic is that we really need basic sets. No one is actually wearing a push-up bra at home. And while we will transition to a better moment, women will still favor basic sets in soft materials and neutral colors. So consider things like the no-wire soft bralette or your core basics like the t-shirt bra and hipster bottoms. Another very important call out is an extended range of nude colors. Consumers are paying very close attention to brands right now, and inclusivity is one of the most important and pressing needs for the market. In invisible comfort, we're looking at wireless constructions that provide support, shape, and lift through memory foam cups or even 3D printed cups and laser cut designs. Finally, we have form and function. Comfort and functionality are winning right now. It is important to consider smart functional underwear with smart compression for sculpting, but that you can still wear every day. I would also highlight that there is a need for multifunctional garments that can be worn as intimates, swim, and activewear. So definitely consider these versatile styles going into spring, summer. Another very important product shift is body positive. In the age of diversity, the lingerie industry has seen a significant shift over the past few years. The body positivity movement, which advocates for acceptance at every size, has changed the ways in which women view and accept their bodies. We are now seeing brands and designers redefine outdated ideas of what it means to be sexy. And I think women will continue to strive to free themselves from old cliches and will reinvent the codes of sexuality on their own terms. This is a message that really resonates loud and clear throughout the intimates and swimwear markets, which now needs to meet the demands of the women in all their diversity. So body positive really embodies individuality and celebrates real bodies, fearless and liberated. Some of the callouts here, comfort. Again, I cannot stress enough how important comfort is for spring, summer 21. So consider things like wire-free bras with no extra padding and soft natural materials. We're also looking into extended range of sizes. Of course, there's a growing demand for lingerie that truly addresses women's needs. And I think beyond the plus size category, we're looking into nursing and maternity. We're also looking into mastectomy bras and period-proof underwear. So these are great opportunities for niche categories. Perfectly Mismatched speaks to versatile lines with thoughtful color combinations that can be mixed and matched. And finally, we have a trend for modest retrofits. So these are vintage-inspired shapes that can feature soft materials or even stretch lace with boundary coverage. I think, women have fully embraced high-waisted panties right now, and we're actually seeing the boxer briefs replace the biker shorts. Now, how is vulnerability applied to a theme? And here we provide a thematic direction for spring-summer assortments that embody vulnerability through a narrative lens. So this is a story called Solstice. And in this story, we were inspired by a remote destination, an idyllic place with rolling green hills and flower-covered paths. In this story, this woman knows that self-care is a necessity, and she's seeking nourishment by breathing in all these beautiful surroundings. And although life is simple, we still see some very nice, joyful elements surface. So embroidered lace, lace trims, and pretty floral prints. Some of the callouts that we have here: the lingerie set has this beautiful combination of lace and stretch mesh for comfort. Bras feature delicate details like crossover lacing, and high-waisted briefs also feature high-cut leg. The bralette here comes in a triangle shape with lace trims and elasticated back. The bodysuit is in all-over stretch lace with contrasting neckline that elongates the torso. And finally, we have this beautiful embroidered set with scallop detailing and matching bikini briefs with cute side ties. So now I also wanted to bring some sleep and loungewear options. So the nightgown, I think the nightgown really becomes the new day dress. We're seeing a maxi silhouette with volume sleeves and print application. So a great way to apply your floral prints. The sleep shirt is updated with slightly puffed sleeves and satin material. The pajama set comes with shorts, of course, since it's spring summer, and it also features delicate ruffle trim. And a great update for the baby doll are contrasting lace cups, ruffle details, and slits.
So just a quick overview of our retail watch as announced previously. So retail watch is one of our strongest tools at the moment to observe your market and be an expert of it. It really allows you to do your own benchmark. So you will see that thanks to our artificial intelligence tool, we are able to track different stores in different countries and different brands all over the world. So you can see in the filters we propose that you can select the date if you want to have a knowledge of what came out on store the day before, the 2 weeks before, the semester before, or the year before. So this is really interesting to see what's new. You can also obviously select your market. So if you are more into lingerie, in activewear, loungewear, and specify really your market in detail. You can select your price point, your country, if you want to observe a specific market on a specific country, store and brands that are referenced by our team of editor. So you'll find all the global brand and more. And you can also make a precision by saying what product category you're looking at, if you're doing something specific, I don't know, on bras, on panties, or loungewear, sleepwear, etc. And we've added also the color filter and the printing pattern.
So using our AI technology from the retail watch, we have been tracking and identifying some early manifestations of vulnerability in retail right now. Some examples of that are the bralette with soft cups, the basic undies with laser cut design, the boxer briefs, like I mentioned, comfort bras, as well as vintage inspired silhouettes, and the bralette with the sweetness of solstice. And now we're gonna move on to the second part of this webinar, and we will discuss pleasure. We should be free to enjoy whatever we like. And as it turns out, these so-called guilty pleasures can actually be good for us. So for Spring Summer 21, we're looking into pleasure. In pleasure, we strip the term guilty pleasure from our vocabulary. It is time to pursue what satisfies you freely. The pleasure revolution seeks to expel the guilty complex that we have around our own enjoyment, and realize that joy is something that we all deserve. We shifted focus to ourselves, our desires, amusements, and gratifications. We dive into sexual awakening by destroying taboos around sex and gender. This shift is obviously very important for intimate apparel because here we are going to discuss very sensual lingerie, which is also another thing that we're forecasting for spring summer 21. Now let's take a look at how we got here. The pleasure sentiment was born out of betterment, which is a trend that explores the next wave of self-care and sexual liberation. And we also looked at voyeuristic, a macro trend that explores play and sensorial experimentation. So we landed on a sentiment declaring the end of guilt, taboos, and the joy of play and lots of indulgence. Now, let's take a look at how pleasure is influencing design. For spring summer 21, we move beyond self-imposed cultural barriers that prevent us from appreciating beauty for beauty's sake. And we trust our visceral reactions to find charm in all the quirk that surrounds us. Pleasure is almost like an escape from the oppressive. It is all about self-indulgence that can lead to self-fulfillment. Let's take a look at a video that really brings this sentiment to life.
If you don't say no, I'll never go far away, holding me too tight. A part of me is never gonna let go of you in your memory of mine. Picture his face up in the space, waiting for your love and your warm embrace. Happiness comes in like the sun, but it never seems to stay here too long. Taking me away again. I don't want to know what's taking me away again. I don't want to know, I don't want to know. I don't really care. I don't want to know. The colors can fill my head. I don't really care. I don't really care. Don't need the road I built. I never thought I'd cross it. I found these keys in my pocket.
Okay, so now we're going to take a look at color, and we're looking at another color shift that is called fundamentals. Fundamentals is all about eye-popping colors that come as a response to the darkness and dullness of fall-winter. So these are colors that are anything but basic, as you can clearly see, and it really brings the joy and the spark and wonder and whimsy that we all want into our spring-summer assortments. So this is all about blossoming personalities that are coming out for spring-summer. We're also looking into the concept of oddly satisfying colors. So these are colors that really play into the amusement that color can actually bring into our lives. Let's take a look at a video that really explains and brings to life the fundamentals color shift. let's take a look at how this pleasure revolution is influencing the intimates market. And this product shift is called power play. It is connected to the sexual wellness movement, a trend that explores a new global movement of women owning their power and challenging old taboos by accepting their bodies and their sensuality. You can think of it as the power suit for intimate apparel. So this will be bondage-inspired lingerie that really frees women to explore and enjoy their bodies. We're looking into sensual silhouettes that feature straps, hardware, and daring cutouts. Power play really challenges old notions of what it means to be feminine in order to encompass a broader spectrum of sexual confidence. Let's take a look at some of the callouts. Modern bondage. So these are adjustable elastic straps for a modern bondage feel. You can consider accessories like harnesses, garter belts, waist cinchers, and suspenders. I think women are really open to adding accessories into their intimates drawer, and that's a great way to expand your assortment as well. We're looking into piercing jewels. So hardware gains importance with interesting shapes as well as gold-plated materials. Soft boning is another big trend for intimates right now. These are satin panels that sort of imitate the structure of boning without actually constricting the body. Great option for high-waisted panties because it creates that elongated, slimmer silhouette. And sensual cutouts. Cutouts are becoming more and more daring and revealing. You can consider items like the open cup bra as well as panties with the cutout in the back. Now, let's take a look at pleasure applied to a theme. And this story is called Symposium. This is about a socialite who's an art collector and inherits an old castle filled with 18th century decor. This is all about clashing centuries. It's all about infusing newness by adding contrasting color, contrasting details, and really creating a very varied wardrobe. Let's take a look at some of the callouts here. So the bodysuit has these contrasting colors and contrasting materials, a great way to apply some of those fundamental colors that clash but also work together very beautifully. We also update the triangle bra with stretched silk and embroidery. And then we have a bustier. I think bustier, like corsets, bodysuits, they're all up trending for spring summer 21. This one has a front hook and eye closure as well as a matching V-shaped thong. And finally, we have a strappy lingerie set. Like I said, it has that bondage feel by using satin straps against embroidered sheer tulle. Some options for sleep and loungewear. The silk pajamas here is updated with contrasting piping, bold colors, and print. Again, a great way to apply color into spring-summer assortments for sleepwear. We also have a lounge dress. I think it's very important to consider sleep and loungewear that can be worn as ready to wear. So women can wear it outside and inside the house. This one has this beautiful volume sleeves. We also have a jumpsuit with this really cute waist tie with tassels, as well as a sleek dress with color block and cutout detail. So now let's take a look at pleasure taking place in retail. So early manifestations of pleasure by using Fashion Snoops retail watch technology. Some of the things that we're tracking are, like I said, the bustiers, strappy underwear, as well as bodysuits with front cutouts. We're also seeing some straps being applied to panties that creates this really sensual look. We're seeing cutouts in bras, as well as a full set with a bustier, panties, and suspenders. And that concludes our webinar for today. So I want to thank you all so much for joining us, and I really hope this has inspired you to start your season.